tell you the quick story. So I got a call from an elite distributor on Saturday, and she was telling me about this gentleman, Glenn, that you're looking at right now that had signed up. And we were talking about the possibilities, right? You always get these conversations when someone signs up like, man, this guy could be great. So anyway, I said, well, put me on the phone with him. So around 1 or 2 o'clock, Amanda Vasquez puts me on the phone with Glenn Pearson. And we only spoke for 30 minutes. But backing up a little bit, previously, guys, I had a conversation. Fred Graves and I talk just about every day. And I told you guys in one of the calls recently that Fred Graves decided to do a launch call. Just hours. I think in 2.5 hours, Fred put on 11 guests, I think, in 2.5 hours. Okay, someone that's database is extremely compromised. Some of those people had heard about LifeVantage, but nevertheless, we started talking about that. And yes, thanks for the text messages. None of us can see Glenn or hear him, unfortunately. We'll get that figured out sooner or later. So Fred was talking about launching someone's business the very day that they come into the business. And so I'm talking to this elite distributor, and I said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to launch his business today. So she says, okay. So at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we have a conversation with Glenn. The conversation was about 30 minutes long at most. And he had already started to talk to a few people. And I basically just say, Glenn, listen, you're going to talk to people about this. And we have a way of getting this out. I want you just to taste a little bit of our duplicating system. And I explained to him what works doesn't matter. I don't care how many people you can enroll. It's not impressive. The only thing I care about is what duplicates. And so we have a system, and I want you to just taste the system a little bit. It's called Launch 60, but we're not going to go all the way. All I want you to do, Glenn, is put 5 people on a phone call. And I want to do that today. I want to do it in a few hours. So he looked at his schedule, looked at my schedule, and we agreed, I think, on 8 o'clock or 8:30 Saturday. So I'm talking to him Saturday at 1 or 2, 8 o'clock Saturday, same day, we do the call. Glenn gets on the call, 7 guests on the call. And from that, we've already gained customers. And he has already done a second call that we did, I think, last night. I think it was last night. That call had 4 or 5 more guests on it, have gained 2 more customers. And I know there's 1, possibly 2 distributors that are already ready to go from those 2 launch calls. Now, the first one was just a taste. It wasn't a real full-blown prepared launch call. But my point is this. I've only known Glenn since Saturday of this week, and we've already done 2 launch calls. He's already got 3 or 4 customers and a couple distributors ready to go. How many people would you like to do that with? And the answer is all of them. All of them. Now, are all of them going to do it? No, they're not. It's not going to happen for everybody. But one of the most exciting things I see coming out, and I said there's some branches of Launch 60. One of the branches of Launch 60 is if it's right, and only you as an experienced distributor are going to understand if it's right. If you feel like it's right, we can start the launch calls that day. Now, if you enroll them too late that night, if you enroll them at 7 or 8 o'clock, you're probably going to want to give them till the next day. But no more than 24 hours. And the beauty of doing that, guys, the beauty of doing this is the person that you just enrolled starts to identify who they are as a person, maybe the size of their vision for what this is. Are they going to start making excuses? Okay. I would rather find out if someone's going to start making excuses in the first 24 hours than 6 months later when I've been hoping they're going to do something and they don't. Okay. It's a phone call. We're not asking for your firstborn child. We're not asking for blood. We're not asking for the password to your bank account. We're asking you to put a few people on a phone call and let us take that could be awkward conversation about network marketing or superoxide dismutase and protandem, and let us deliver that information and break the ice so that now you can circle back and go talk to those people that might have been very hard on you. They're going to be a little less hard. We know your family, the closest people to you are the ones that are the hardest. We know. If you don't think so, go ask Dustin Boudreaux. His mom said he was an idiot. I had close people that thought I was crazy. All right. Believe me, you want to go through that first education process in the best way possible. Here's what I've also done. I told Glenn before we did the call, I'm going to call you immediately after the call, and I just want to know how you feel. Okay. So I did it. I called Glenn immediately after the call. And by the way, he did a fabulous job on the call. And I said, how do you feel? And he goes, oh man, that was amazing. That was great. That was fantastic. That was great. You were fun. Guys, what does a new distributor that is feeling like that, what do? They do another launch call. They're excited. They invite. Now we've got a new person engaged in their business, excited, and we're moving their 60 people across the board. We're getting, as Gary said, we're getting that 200 PV covered. Glenn's PV is going to be covered. I mean, the ID numbers were going in today, I think. We were setting customers up here when I sat with him. The contents of his kit, get this. Glenn has done 2 launch calls, and he doesn't even have his kit yet. Hello. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Now, is it going to go that way all the time? No, it's not. But it's a great way to start the business. I did this with a doctor last week. You know, I said, you might think, well, a doctor's going to do a launch call? Yeah. Because guess what? I know more about superoxide dismutase, catalase, glutathione, keep one proteins, and oxidative stress than about 99% doctors in the world. I can promise you that. Most doctors don't even know what oxidative stress is. They definitely don't hardly know what NRF2 is. And I've been around it for 7 years. Yeah, I know more. Bring it on. I'll talk to any doctor in the world. And I've got proof. I got backbone with PubMed.gov, right? So yeah, no one's off limits for a launch call. They're not. You just have to maybe tailor them. If it's going to be a bunch of doctors, you definitely want to get on the call and recognize that. You know, thank them for their time, knowing they're busy. Validate and recognize their level of education. I mean, you know, whoever's doing the launch call needs to be understanding of all these things, and then it goes well. It goes really, really well. So super excited for that development. And when anybody enrolls, that's what we're doing. You're going to do a launch call within 24 hours. I'm going to suggest it. You're going to make the decision if we're doing it or not. And if you don't want to do it, that's okay. But I can promise you, you're not going to get a lot of my time. You're just not. And if someone says, yes, I'll do launch calls, and someone's like, no, I don't, I think you're going to go with the runners. I mean, isn't that what we've always said? I need to find a runner. I need to find a runner. I need to find a runner. I got to find a runner. Well, hello. A really nice indicator someone's going to run is a launch call. Okay. Does that make sense to you guys? And if you've been in the business for a long time, relaunch. Get 60 names and move them across 3 steps. Invite, tool, team. Do it if you want to get the things rolling again. So enough with the launch calls. I think we've covered that. If you have questions about the launch call, if you have reservations about the launch call, if you, whatever, call me. Call the people that you know are doing. Call Fred. Call Tori Hill. Call Gary Stern. Call me. I'll answer your questions. We'll talk about it. I did that this week with a few distributors. I talked to a few people through the psychology of Launch 60 this week, and now they get it. Now they understand. Okay, and I love that. I actually love when people want information before they move forward, because that's me. I analyze. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you analyze. Let's have the conversation. I think you'll understand. Okay.